You are now listening to the Minority Trailblazer podcast. Let the story begin.
One time for the lovers, two times for the ladies, three times for the brothers, four times for the babies. Do you love her? 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 One time for the lovers, two times for the ladies, three times for the brothers, four times for the babies. Do you love her? 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 Brown skin, love her brown skin, love her brown. Brown skin, love her brown skin, love her brown. She my brown skin, love her brown skin, love her brown. She my brown skin, love her brown skin. Hold me down.
Welcome to the Minority Trailblazer podcast, and I'm your host, Greg Ehill, the culture change agent. On this show, you interview young, successful minorities in a variety of fields to educate, empower, and inspire our current and future generation of leaders. And today, I got a show personally, Minority Trailblazer Nation. This is going to be an epic podcast, one of the best I've ever recorded. I'm really excited, man. They're going to drop a lot of jewels. We're going to get in, get out. I know y'all typically get the hour and a half, boy, but we're going to hit this thing in 45 minutes. Y'all with me? I need to hear some virtual claps. I received that, all right? And Evan Jackson to the Minority Trailblazer podcast, man. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us, man.
Hey, man, y'all need to be more excited than that, bro. I need to say, yeah, bro. I need to get that turn up energy, bro. Don't give me that. Don't give me that, man. First and foremost, I'm excited to have y'all on the show today, man. I know Gabby, your PR person. Shout out to Gabby, man. She's a beast. Shout out to what she do for her and her people, man. So she reached out and I was like, yo, okay, I need to get this. This sounds exciting. I started doing more research. I said, oh yeah, I got to get these brothers on this thing. So I'm really excited, man. I know I gave a snippet of the bio, but before we get into it, I always have the guests start the show off with a quote and how they apply that quote to their everyday life and kind of give a story about it. So y'all take it away. A quote or a mantra too. So I know sometimes like, yo, I'm not really on the quote boy, but I got a mantra. So I leave that out for my guests as well.
I would say one quote that I like to live my life by is hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. And I know we hear that all the time, but I think it's something that's really applied to my life. Where I've never felt like I was the most talented, the person, who was number one, but I've always worked my way up to be what I needed to be and do what I needed to do, countless late nights, early mornings, trying to get where I need to go. And always in the back of my mind, if I just work harder, I'll beat those who are more talented. And so that's my quote.
Got you. What about you, man?
Yeah. For me, it's everything happens for a reason. So even when little things trip you up, small failures, you just got to keep it pushing. Keep going because you just know if you keep focused, keep on that straight and narrow path, you'll get to your end goal.
Oh, say less, man. So I like to always start the show off finding the pulse because I've been on shows when I first started this. We 100 episodes in, 1 million downloads plus. Thank you, Lord. But when I first started, I would come with some crazy energy, and then I realized like maybe the guest's father had passed or maybe something happened. So I always try to find the pulse of the show before I go, so it kind of layer where we need to go. So this question is in regards to that. If you think about last week, right? Good or bad, what is one moment that you got from last week that you learned something from, good or bad, and share what you learned from it?
Last week was big for us because we landed a big contract, one of our pilot partners.
Mm-hmm.
And we just learned that.
How big are we talking? Can you discuss? You don't got to get detailed, but what is big? What's the scope of that?
Can I say that it's enough patience to get us to the next level of where we need to be.
Okay.
But, big thing we learned from that is just if we put a lot of attention, high touch into the customer service aspect, things will go our way when we're actually trying to convert into sales. And we really focused on making it patient-centered. So looking at the individual level, who can we really help? And that's what really put us over the edge to get that contract signed.
Yeah, I think it's so key, and I'm glad y'all learned that at an early age, man, because, we live in a culture, we want more clients, we want more this, more that. It's like, yo, if you ultra focus on serving that one client, serve them a phenomenal customer experience, like phenomenal, like you applying the emails, you jumping on calls, they like, yo, these boys eat, because the thing is, like I said, it goes to the hard work and talent piece, right? There's a lot of talented individuals, but they don't reply to emails fast. You can't get them on the phone. You don't know when they're not reliable. So would you want them or somebody that, hey, I might not be as talented, but I work so hard that I get to the talent level. Like I'm gonna find a way. And I think that's critical right now because I mean, we're gonna get to y'all age and kind of y'all experience level, but I think y'all keep that approach, that 1-to-1. I mean, I know people that are multimillionaires off one client. Like, I know there's probably billionaires that got their first billion off one deal. You feel me? Like, there's no need to get 18 and 20 specifically. You don't got the capacity to do that, but I can go all day with that, man. I'm excited. So let's do this. Before we jump in, I also want to do, I typically, and I started doing this season, it's worked really well. Because I want to build the context, and I call it like hype talk. I change it every day. I said brag talk, but hype talk, where our guests can share some of the biggest accomplishments, right? Because I like to, especially for Black people, that we live in a society where we've been pushed down as far as don't be that confident, or it's like, and they don't tell you that, but it's subtle stuff, right? Even your friends like, oh man, he cocky, he's arrogant, bro. Like, bro, I'm just being me, bro. Like, can I operate on the elite level and be phenomenal? Like, what's wrong with that? You feel me? So this is y'all opportunity, man. I know y'all very, very young, but just share with our audience, man, some of your greatest accomplishments thus far so they can kind of get the context as we walk through the journey on what it really means.
Yeah, you talking about accomplishments in terms of in general or in terms of the company?
It could be business. Let's start life in general so y'all can reflect, but then let's go to the company as well.
For me, I would say my biggest accomplishment in terms of life so far has been being elected to be the junior grand vice Mark of Kappa Alpha Psi. I know you're a Greek as well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, on the wrong side of
we not gonna go there, man. I got my A5A hoodie to jump, bro. Like this, we gonna go there, man.
Whatever you say, man. Whatever you say. Nah, but that was really exciting for me being in that position to be. It was such a high honor. My father's a new. Been looking forward to this for a long time, and to be able to be in that position as the undergraduate president, man, that was very humbling and probably my biggest accomplishment up to this point, outside of work.
Okay. What about yourself, man?
For me, definitely throughout getting into Brown and then becoming class president at Brown for 3 consecutive years before leaving school to run this venture. That was definitely big, knowing that all these talented, bright students looked at me to be their leader and to be that agent that's going and advocating for them to administration, faculty, and everything.
And then let's talk about from an Intuscare. It's called Intuscare, correct? Make sure I said it. I make sure I put some respect on the name. What has been your biggest accomplishments thus far?
The first one I'd say would be raising our seed fund, so that having an actual venture capitalist, a VC fund, believe in us, that they think we can scale our business to get to the next level, and really think that we could be something big. That was probably the biggest one. But there's also, Evan, you could talk about.
Yeah, I think also some of our other accomplishments. I mean, I think the fundraiser was key and really pivotal for us to be able to continue to make the next steps.
And how much y'all fundraise? How much did y'all fundraise again? Just because I like to give context for my audience.
Yeah. $500,000.
Okay, cool.
That kind of gave us the gas to be able to burn and go. But probably my favorite moment and most exciting accomplishment up to this point in our company has been winning the Mass Challenge competition, which is a big accelerator up here on the East Coast, man. That was crazy because we applied initially not even thinking that we would get into the accelerator. And the way the accelerator works is it's like a several week training program. What was it, like 10 to 15 weeks of training? And then you pitch against hundreds of other teams in a competition at the end for funding. And so the grand prize was $50,000 for first place. And we were in the competition. The majority of people were already graduated. We were really the youngest people in the competition as a whole. And so then we get to pitching and we keep making it to the next round. I think there were 4 or 5 rounds until it led up to the last night where there were 8 of us left. The top 8, and it was a huge banquet where everyone would get announced on stage, the winners. And so we hear first name call. There's three teams are going to win. And so we hear the first names call and it's not us. Second name calls, it's not us. And we're like, man, not again, because we had lost a couple previously. And then they call the last name. They're like, for the $50,000 grand prize gold award, Intuscare. And we start screaming, running across the stage. Everyone was calm, but we were running, jumping, excited because it meant so much to us. And I feel like that was a big moment for us because it felt like, this is something that we can do. It was a whole lot of work. We have been working for about a year up to that point. But that was the moment where I was like, okay, like we need to go all in because this is something that we can do and really make a difference in people's lives.
Man, that's exciting stuff, man. It's like, especially, and it's not even the money thing. It's about the competition. You feel me? Like, yo, you not. It's not because I mean, money. You can always get money. I'm not gonna say that. It's hard, but I mean, with the competition, you competing against other dogs. It's like you're not the only dog in the field. And I use that dog reference loosely for all my PC people. I'm not saying that, but you can. There's a lot of other companies. And it wasn't just people of color, right? It was open to everybody.
Open to everyone.
And his idea. Yeah, man.
Worldwide.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. So let's jump right in, man. So the first part of our series, and I don't got my glasses on, so I gotta be like this. Let's do it like this, man. Let's jump into your origin story, man. So can you share with the audience, man, a little bit about yourselves individually, like before Intuscare, a little bit before Brown, kind of your makeup and your upbringing, so we can kind of paint the picture?
Yeah. So I grew up in Dallas, Texas. And of course, yes, sir, Dallas, Texas. And of course, being from Dallas, football was always a big part of my life. Everybody played football. Uh-oh. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. I can hear you.
Uh-oh. Maybe we have some connectivity. But yeah, but growing up in Dallas, football was always a huge part of my life. Played all the way up through high school. Wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. Thought maybe, I would maybe want to go into business or law, but I always knew I liked football. And so come to senior year, I started getting recruited. Got a few offers, ended up committing to one of my offers to Brown to come up here. And originally what I thought I wanted to do was go down the financial track and really do the finance thing, go do some Wall Street. I worked a summer at Bank of America, thought that would be for me until I got to my sophomore year. And actually Robbie came to me with this idea in healthcare, which is something that I never thought I would want to do. And you can take it away from there, Rob.
Yeah, I was always kind of interested in this healthcare piece a little bit. My mother was a social worker, a geriatric social worker. So I was used to going into her patients' homes. And then she started running a healthcare facility when I got into high school. Got really interested in that. Ended up coming to Brown as well with Evan for football. And then around sophomore, junior year, I started going back to my mom's facility, seeing all the issues that or small inefficiencies that they'd have. And I realized, we could solve this with technology and innovation. And it wasn't just her facility having some of these problems. It was widespread across the long-term care market. So all these elderly patients, all their care delivery could be improved with just small technological advances that have been seen in other industries. So we came up with this idea, decided to just test it, just try to go for it, put a team together, entered some competitions, started building, and that's how we got to where we are now.
Man, that's huge, man. Did y'all grow up with two parents in your household? Did your parents go to college, or did y'all just pop out and went to Brown? That's a big achievement. And let me retract that. It's a great thing. Brown, just going to college in general.
Thank you. Yeah, both of my parents went to school. My mom went to Howard. My dad went to Texas Tech. They were both in my life. My dad ended up going to law school at Texas Southern, got his law degree out there, practiced law, and my mom ended up doing journalism. Okay. What about yourself, man?
Yeah, both my parents went to East Carolina University. Yeah, my mother obviously was a social worker. My dad worked for the Justice Department for a while. Grew up with both of them, had great family support growing up. Yeah, so I have to say I was pretty blessed in that aspect.
Yeah, and I try to paint that center, one, to give context, but two, and this is a challenge for all our audience, because I know a lot of us did not grow up in a two-parent household. Boy, we had the single or the grandmother's raised, etc. And I know I meet a lot of people all the time. They're phenomenal in their career. They're doing great stuff. And I think the challenge is for not y'all, but for our listeners to continue to remember. You can prep your next generation of the future by you doing what you need to do. And honoring women, honoring men, however you move, honoring that and being in your people's lives. So then you can set the ground mark for people like y'all at 21 doing phenomenal things. Y'all about to change y'all are changing the whole healthcare system at 21. But imagine if your parents didn't make those sacrifices and lock in and be in y'all lives, right? Imagine the impact that y'all gave. it may have been done by somebody else, but who knows? You feel me? So I mean, it's a challenge out there, not for y'all specifically, but for my viewers and listeners, and specifically those that got children, man. Be there and be present there. Don't just support financially. Don't just be grinding and all this other stuff and give them the leftovers. I challenge you because these young brothers and what we're about to discuss, man, is doing phenomenal work. But if you're not there and present, man, I'm telling you, it's not gonna be easy. And I mean, I just got off podcasts with some phenomenal folk that parents weren't there and they succeeded. But imagine what it would look like if their intentionality was there, man. So I just challenge y'all to get there. But I'm gonna get off that soapbox and go into this. So, all right, now, what in the world, bro? You a junior, you a senior in college, you got the sauce, you the president and whatnot, you look the part, and you leave school. Like, what gave you the gall to leave school? Like, were your parents like, what, for real? Like, what happened? How did that work, bro?
Yeah, so it took some. I definitely feel you on that. It took some convincing from my parents in terms of they're like, you got to finish school. But Brown's lenient in letting people take a little time off to work on themselves or work on projects that they're interested in. And sometimes you just really got to bet on yourself. And this is one of those times. We have a great idea. We have the funding, the market's there. There's people to be helped right now. Like every time we enter a new facility, get a new pilot, these are lives we're directly affecting. So it's worth it right now. And we learned so much doing this. You learn things that you can't learn in a classroom. So when we do go back to school, we'll just be that much stronger. When we do start our careers, we'll just be that much stronger as well.
And did you leave school as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're both going to leave. My conversation with my mom was a little bit different. She was just like, as long as the Tesla's in the driveway in a year, then you do what you got to do.
Yeah, I like that energy, man. It's I ain't gonna lie, when y'all first reached out, I was jealous because my story is similar. Like my junior year, I was the face of campus, did all this stuff, and then senior year I left. But I ain't had no funding though. Like my funding was I was in the entertainment and doing other stuff, and I was like, dang man, what would life be like if I really would have? And this is 2011, really would have been hip to pitching and stuff like that. I could talk with the best of them. I could tell a story. That's what I do. I was like, dang, bro. But I'm glad I went about it this way. But I was like, yo, these dudes, that's what's up, man. Because I mean, and also too, shout out to, and I think there's baked in stuff why universities have their policy. Because North Carolina A&T ain't no on leave, bro. You just leave, like you gone. Like, it's a dropout, like you feel me. So that's cool that you preference it. We're on leave, like nah, it don't work like that at certain HBCUs. To be real, man. And there's systemic things in regards to that, but we're not gonna go there. It's not that type of podcast. So let's jump right into Intuscare, man. Can y'all break down to our audience what exactly is Intuscare? And I know you kind of mentioned it earlier, but how did you even find this space? Because it's for elderly healthcare. And I'm like, yo, y'all dudes 2021, like for real. So I know you kind of, but clearly walk us to one, what Intuscare is, how it was started, and then how did y'all meet?
So you can start with like what we do and I'll go into this. So, yeah.
So what Intuscare does is we take patient health data from their electronic health record for long-term care providers and health plans. And we let these providers know who their highest risk patients are for hospitalization, why they're at risk, and what they can do to prevent these hospitalizations by informing their resource allocation. That sounds pretty jargony, but basically we're letting you know who you should be treating to stop some sort of preventable cause.
And for a little bit of context, when Robbie says long-term care organizations, he's referring to elderly care organizations. So that can be nursing homes, adult daycare, skilled nursing facility, assisted living. Really what we're able to do is tell you who your at-risk patients are so you can provide preventative care services rather than letting your patients get to a point where they need hospital care.
Yeah, the most jarring kind of statistic is that around, I think it's 38 or 40% of all hospitalizations within long-term care, so these are elderly patients, are actually preventable.
Wow.
So that's the problem we're actually solving.
Like, hold up. I know y'all gonna get to why y'all met, but so what do you mean by the preventable? Is just people just don't know the data, or it just get lost in the system? Somebody didn't send an email? Like, what do you mean by that?
So it's for a host of different reasons, but typically for elderly patients, you'll have 4 or 5 different chronic conditions that are all interacting in different ways. And if you mismanage one of these conditions, it'll cause a preventable hospitalization in the area of one of these other conditions. So like a lot of the things are like hypertension, chronic kidney disease, congestive heart failure, just so many different things that are very common within geriatric patients. And it's just important for care managers, care providers to manage all these conditions. But it's hard for them to do because they can't look at thousands of different patient data points at one time. And that's what we do using machine learning.
And I'll give you an example. One of the ones that I think is really jarring is in regards to chronic kidney disease. So there are 4 stages of chronic kidney disease. And once you get up to stage 3 and 4, it gets really, really expensive to treat. You need dialysis and things of that nature. But the majority of patients don't realize or aren't diagnosed for chronic kidney disease until they're at stage 3 or 4. But with our software, we can actually detect early because of a host of different factors when a patient may need to be tested for CKD or chronic kidney disease, so you can stop the disease early and prolong the effects.
Oh man, that's over my head, but I get it. Like that's real. I mean, in the raw scheme of things, there's some huge gaps in the elderly care system, as we've seen with COVID. Like, I mean, it's ridiculous. People were dying for no good reason. And there's gaps, and I'm glad that y'all had the foresight to say, hey, how can we fit? And a lot of these gaps, when you go there, is preventable. Like you said, like you're like, hold up, what are y'all using? Like, who's taking these notes? How is it transferred? And I know there's probably a lot of stuff dealing with patient data. There's a lot of legal stuff with that. So I would imagine there's a lot of background, but I'm glad that y'all took on that initiative. And it truly just started with you, Robbie, where you said you were with your mother and you saw, like, how did you realize it was such a big gap?
Yeah. So the gap started off kind of small. I used to look over my mother's books when I get nosy. She'd have board of directors meetings. It started kind of there, and then it moved on to, we spent all of last semester, or maybe, yeah, it was last semester. We went around the state of Michigan. We spent the time researching. We went to, I'd say, dozens and dozens of different long-term care facilities, spoke with the people, the caregivers, spoke with the administrators, everyone there, just try to learn as much as we could about this problem. And we were just soaking up information and realizing the scope of how big of an issue this was. And it also informed how we could make this, like our solution, as streamlined and impactful for these people who are taking care of people every day.
Man.
And to note there as well, one of the things that we realized as we went around is there's some great healthcare software out there, but the majority of software isn't designed for caregivers themselves. They're designed for more higher level, potentially administrators, very complicated software that give you good information, but it's just not easy to use or understand. So when we went about making our software, we wanted to make the user interface and experience so that it could be used by anyone. So it's a very simplistic application that shows you directly who your patients are who are at risk and what you can do to with preventative care measures to keep them out of the hospital.
I love all that, man. So one, how did y'all meet? And then can you briefly touch on, like, this is a team, it's 4 of y'all, right? So did y'all all drop out at once? Like, how did that work? And let's talk about y'all dynamics as a team, because I mean, shoot, I'm 30 and it's hard for me to lead my team on a lot of different areas, man. So how do y'all work on that dynamic, being that y'all so young in your career? And I know y'all have had leadership experience. I know you as president, you as grand marshal, etc. But how do y'all work that out, man? Making decisions at a rapid pace, and this be real, y'all got to deliver results now. You're in the business world now, like you're no longer a student, so y'all getting this money, y'all got to deliver the results. So walk me through how y'all met, a little bit of the team dynamics, and things of that nature.
Yeah, I'll give you the real story.
Yeah, please do.
So back in the day, back in high school, I was doing my thing, whatever. Senior year, meet the most beautiful girl. Ended up, trying, getting dubbed, until finally she let me take her out. Ended up becoming my girlfriend senior year. Spent a lot of time together. And of course, like I said, I was from Dallas, but she had actually moved to Dallas from Michigan. And so when I committed to Brown for football, she was like, yo, there's this great dude. We grew up together. You got to meet him at school. And me being the cocky senior, getting ready to go play football, I was like, whatever. Like,
I don't need to meet nobody. He need to meet me.
I don't know. She was like, nah, listen, like he's a really great dude. You're going to be excited to meet him. And I was like, okay, whatever. First day I get up, I meet him, and his name is Robbie Felton. And so that's how we originally met. And then from there, actually, since we were up in camp, he moved into my room. So we ended up rooming together. for football camp, and that's how we originally.
Oh, you play football too?
Yep.
Robbie, you play football too?
Yeah, we both play football together.
Then you didn't mention that, bro. Like, I didn't know y'all was former athletes as well. That's crazy. I didn't know that. Is that in the peak press kit? I missed it. That's freaking dope. That gives me more context. That's crazy. Okay. What positions y'all play, real quick?
Running back.
And what'd you play?
And I played corner.
A corner. How tall are you, Robbie? You look tall.
Oh no, this is just the high. I'm on the high chair right now.
Don't gas him.
No, I'm 5'10".
Oh, bro, I'm looking at the pictures, but I thought you was like 6'3" or something like that. Gabby cropped you in the right light. I was like, bro, you had that. I mean, not to say you not like you don't have executive presence, but I thought you was like 6'3", 6'4", bro. I was like, hold up. Okay, cool.
I'm in Alabama right now.
I said, shout out to Gabby. I was like, my man, huge, bro. Okay, cool. That's what's up, man. People say I look small in my picture. I'm 6'4", so that's what's up, man. So how did the other two guys, individuals, get incorporated into the business? And are they in school still?
Talk about a blue one.
Yeah. So we, so Evan and I had started a project before because we were just interested in learning. We started learning about the environmental industry, and we entered in a business competition our freshman year. So this is way back, and that taught us like all the skills about how to like actually formulate like a business plan, make a pitch deck, pitch, all these other things. And we were in this business competition. We spent hours and hours with these two other random kids we had met. Mm-hmm. And we just get up there. We do a great job, but we lose. We get like just washed.
We didn't even place top 3, and they're only like 17.
Yeah. And at that point, I was like, business probably isn't for me. Like,
we didn't speak for like a month. We were like,
So then I think about at least a year later, that same competition comes around, and I'm like, maybe I should re-enter this with all these like new ideas I had with working with these like geriatric healthcare facilities. And first person I go to is Evan, like, hey, hear me out. Like this is a big problem that we can solve.
And I was like, no, I don't, I'm not trying to work. I was like big finance guy. I wasn't trying to work in geriatrics.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care, but Robbie's very convincing.
Yeah. So, like these are issues that our parents will face. Eventually we'll face, our grandparents are facing right now. So it's important, it's timely, it's pertinent. So then Evan eventually agreed to work on it. Then we went through kind of almost a hiring process where we were just interviewing people. And we finally
there was one guy I always had in the back of my mind, the smartest guy I know probably ever met. His name is Sam Prado. Shout out Sam. And then we went to Sam to join the team, and he was all in. And Sam was kind of a nice medium between us because he did economics as well as public health. So we understood the healthcare side as well.
Oh, like perfect.
On my side. So it was a great fit. And now Sam is still on our team and does all of our clinical development and works with our clinical research team.
Right. And we found the fourth member of our team in an entrepreneurship class, actually. We sat down to pitch our idea in this course. And then a couple people later, he sits down and says the exact same thing. And we were confused, but he said he had family that also worked in the space, and they told him, hey, you gotta help fix this problem. And he's our tech or our computer science whiz. He's really smart, builds all of our products, runs our development teams. And then to the next piece of your question, how do we work with managing the team? So we had around 12, maybe a couple more interns this summer. And we have it split up into a couple different teams where we have the clinical team that's ran by Sam. We have our software development team that's ran by Alex, and then Evan runs our business development team. And Evan can tell you a little bit more about how he's helped manage all these people we brought on.
Yeah, I think that one of the things that was really great about us getting funding was also us getting our venture capital firm, Equal Opportunity Ventures. They've just been incredible and really helping us to understand some of the things that we didn't understand before. And it was really perfect timing because we secured funding from them at the beginning of May, and our internship started in June. So they really helped us with the planning process, really dotting our I's, crossing our T's, and making sure that we planned well so that we could run a successful internship. So even before going into the summer, We knew exactly what we wanted to accomplish. We've been able to stay on track and actually hit all of our goals and more through the summer. So it's been incredibly successful and really a great time. I've had such a good time working with everybody. The chemistry is great. And that's something that I don't even think we could have control for. I think we were really blessed to have the right team. So I'm very grateful.
And what's your diversity split as far in regards to outside of y'all and your whole team? So I guess it's 12, 14. What was the diversity split in the internship, and what's the diversity in as far as what y'all do?
Yeah, so in terms of diversity, our office is very diverse. People of color, women, all people that we have within our office, majority actually. And then in terms of our advisory, we kind of kept that same aspect where we have a diverse set of advising roles, formal advisors as well, which is something we hope to continue and hope to increase.
And the interesting thing there too that I want to note is, a lot of people have really a great dedication to making sure that they bring in diverse talent, do these things. To be frank, we really weren't even thinking about making sure that we had a diverse office. We really wanted to just make sure that we had the best players. And I think that that's something that's forgotten, and really the best team ended up being a very diverse team. And I think that's reflective of basically the workers market as a whole.
Yeah, I think there's another conversation with that though. Because when you think of best, the terminology, it's not a conversation. It's just, yeah, there's a lot with that. But yeah, I get you. Can y'all speak to the power of diversity though? Because I think that's one thing I admire, that this and to speak to it bluntly, because I really feel a lot of corporations and a lot of they talk diversity, but if you unlock diversity truly, like you said, at the core, and people just want to be great, like it is powerful because they have certain experiences that you don't have. Certain mindsets you do have. Like, I mean, it is what it is. Like, you might as well leverage them. You feel me? Not him, but you might as well leverage everybody. You feel me? But I think sometimes, even myself, I put myself in a bubble. Like, be real, minority trailblazer, I really don't work with too many people that's not minorities. Like, I mean, let's just be real. To say I'm gonna change that up, probably not in this for minority trailblazer stuff, but other assets. I think there's so much power in that. Can y'all speak to the power, the stuff that y'all have learned and things you've been able to cultivate and develop within your company from that diversity and what y'all have?
Right. So within our company, to be more specific, with the actual population of people we serve, in terms of the health plans and providers we work with, the majority of these people are on Medicaid and Medicare. So they're elderly and underserved populations. So a lot of them are people of color, people of low socioeconomic status. So when we're building our product and deploying it, we have to be mindful of that. So that's why having diverse perspectives within our actual organization helps us kind of mitigate a lot of these inequities, reduce these disparities. These are things we build into our product. So we don't want our product underserving people of color just because they're already disadvantaged in the health system, or they're already being tested less. These are risks that we build in so that we can level the playing field for people even receiving care.
And I think that having such a diverse workplace has shown me how much my own background impacts the way that I think. So, for example, sometimes I see things so completely one way, and I'm like, this has to be the answer. This is the only way I see it. And then someone with a completely different background comes and sees it from a completely opposite way. They could be completely right. And that's something I just wouldn't have known without having such a diverse workplace of people coming from different backgrounds in different places that see the world differently than I do.
I love that. So so we got 8 minutes, right? So we about to go and we're going to go fast and furious, right? So let's lock in, because I got a couple things and I got a culture change round. So let's be, and y'all don't have to say speak on both of them, but we're gonna go right here. What's the most challenging part of the work y'all do?
I think most challenging piece is getting over that barrier of us being students and young. And having people take us seriously in the workplace, and us knowing that we're all in on this, we're completely serious.
I also think something that's really challenging is just in the field that we're in and the nature of what we do, we're dealing with people's lives, and people's grandparents, people's mothers. And so I think keeping that in mind and thinking about what we do is sometimes challenging, and understanding that the impact of our product could mean, life or death. And so that's really important for us.
Man, that's huge. And all right, so take it like this. What it feel like when you realize like, yo, we really in it, even though it may be commonplace amongst your peers, but that's freaking y'all 2021, 500 grand startup. That's huge, man. So what was it feel like? You got the email like, hold up, what? 500? 500? Okay, what? Like, it's like, how was that feeling like real quick? What was that feeling like? You'll say, yeah, y'all got your first seed. Cause I mean, I envision it's going to be a lot more to come with that. For real. I know it is. Cause that's a huge built multi-billion dollar industry. It's crazy. But what was the first feeling like, yo, we really did this? Like, it's huge.
For me, it started off like that feeling of excitement. And then I wouldn't say your heart drops, but it feels like you're jumping off the cliff and you're just waiting for that parachute to pull. Cause it's like, you're in like once you raise that venture capital money, like that's your life now. Like you gotta ride it out till it's over. And it was that feeling, like it was excitement, but also that nervousness.
Yeah, it almost didn't even feel real. It was surreal. You know, it's like really, is this really, you know, what's happening? But then, you know, after a little bit of that, it's like, okay, like what are we gonna do with this? How are we gonna, you know, because it's one thing to get money, it's another thing to make more. And so we never want to be those people who take it for granted. We want to keep pushing it and do more and more.
Yeah, man. So how does it work? Do they just send it to the business bank account and you look and it's like, hold up, 500 grand's in there? Or is it pieced out? Like, what does that look like? Do you look at your bank account like, hold up, the business bank like 500? 500? 500? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, just like that, pretty much. So you calling my mom, so I'm like, "Mom, look at this screenshot."
Yeah, bro, you like, bro, like, oh, that's just crazy, man. It's crazy. Like, and the thing is, it's crazy for some. This is a normal conversation. Like, oh, let's get VC capital. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna contact so and so John, and John is gonna. You got 1.5, and boom, and it's like for me, I'm like, bro, like, when I got my first 5-figure contract, I was like, for real, bro? This is what? I mean, shoot, first 4-figure contract. So I mean, imagine 500, $500,000, even though you got a team, and we don't got time to really make it a cost. Cause I know there's a huge cost perspective because people get stuff confused. They say, oh, VC fund 500 grand. Well, it ain't like you pocketing 200 a piece and then 100 go. Like, no, the stuff costs. Like, I can imagine, and we don't got time to go into that, but I can imagine the cost perspective of building out a system. How do you pay your people? What do you pay your people? And I guess that's what with the venture capital firm, they kind of help educate y'all and coach y'all on certain things like that, right?
Yeah, everyone who we employ makes more than us. So we raised 500 racks, but we're still broke.
Isn't that a weird dynamic? Like, man, don't say broke, bro. Don't say broke. Don't say broke.
Evan and I are still sharing ramen noodles for dinner.
Oh, what? Hey, well, shoot.
I wish he was lying. I wish he was lying.
Oh, that's crazy, man. I don't like the sound of that. That don't sound exciting, but yeah. Y'all get there. Y'all have y'all Teslas in the driveway soon enough. Yeah. Just don't.
We're sacrificing so we can have the best work environment for our employees. But yeah, if that means us, like, you gotta like bum it for the first year or so. Like it is what it is. We just gotta do it. But we're just trying to be successful.
All right, bet. So we're gonna fast forward to the culture change round. 5 rapid fire questions. I'll take each question, one person answers, and just back and forth. We're gonna get to it. All right. What is the best piece of advice that you have never received?
Best piece of advice that I've never received is don't be afraid to fail. I mean, people kind of talk about it, but really directly, I don't think I really understood how important it would be for us to fail, and how much failures can turn into success. For example, when we lost that first competition, feeling so down, but that giving us the confidence and the perseverance to go forward. Times that we've lost and had to pivot our ideas, that's been the best thing for us. So I think our failure has really become our greatest success.
If you could add, great answer. If you could add one habit and take away one habit, what would they be, Robbie?
If I could add one habit, definitely it would be, for me, even stricter organization, because I'm realizing there's so much stuff going on. So much stuff going on, so much stuff to manage. And as you scale up, do more and more, it just gets harder to organize. And I envy people who are just every single thing, like pinpoint organization. And if I could take away one habit, it would definitely be the trait of just thinking you can grind everything out. Like sometimes you need to stop and ask for help, but like that kind of football mentality of, yeah, I just got to keep working. Let me get back Let me get in the lab. Let me see what I can do. Let me see if I can fix this on my own. That's one thing I would take away. Like, so you got to stop and ask for help. And that's one thing I'm learning.
All right, cool. And let's matter of fact, let's fast forward to the last question of the whole podcast, man. If you could change one thing about society, most specifically our African American culture, what would it be and why?
I wish that we had put more of an emphasis into making sure that everybody made it. And here's why I say that. One thing that I've especially been noticing in business and in other races and cultures that I've seen is really the emphasis on trying to make sure that everybody's good. Like you'll never really see, you see, a bunch of especially white folks like bringing up their people, bringing up their boys, which is great. Everybody's coming up. But sometimes with our people, it feels like, it's like once you make it, you're good and you get your immediate people up, but no, like people don't bring enough of other people up and create that generational wealth across the board. And so that's something that we really want to do with our company and our funding, make sure that everybody's good, everybody's taken care of. And not only that people are making money, but that people are getting jobs, people are understanding how to make the next step. It's, you teach a man to fish type of mentality.
And then let's close out like this. Where can people find more information about Intuscare, about the work you're doing? How can they stay in contact and keep in touch about what the work y'all doing?
Yeah, of course, Intuscare.com. You can look us up on LinkedIn. You could add either of us on LinkedIn. Feel free to ask us any questions. Robbie at Intus.care, Evan at Intus.care. Those are the emails. And any of the socials, just reach out. We're open to speaking with anyone, open to helping anyone.
All right, say less, man. Hey, well, I appreciate y'all boys. I almost hit, on the dot, 10 o'clock. Boy, that boy good. All right, so I appreciate y'all, man. We could have went so much further deeper, man, but we got what we needed, man. Y'all have a phenomenal day. Great stuff. And y'all be easy, all right, bro?
Appreciate it.